It has been 3 days since you all came to Blizzard Villa. The worst snow in decades has completely trapped all of you within the mountain. In recent days, all of you have been actively looking for ways to communicate with the outside world to no avail. The guest moods have all shifted from the original excitement to fear as the uneasy atmosphere quietly spreads. To ease everyone's mood, Mavis Zhang ensures that everyone will be protected and that the auction will proceed as scheduled. And today is the day of the auction. Miss, don't frown so much. No progress has been made on Elijah Yin's case. We have been stuck here for several days with no contact from the outside world. I'm just afraid of what might happen. I will always protect you, no matter what happens. There's always a solution. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Do not worry, the truth will come to light. Sometimes we just have to wait a little longer. Yeah, I know. The guests in the living room began to grow impatient. Why isn't Mavis Zhang here yet? Yes, I thought the auction was supposed to start today. How much longer do we have to wait? It is already 10 minutes past the originally scheduled start time. Some impatient guests are starting to get anxious. Strange, where is Mavis Zhang? Maybe something's keeping him? Could there be a reason to delay the auction, one that is too inconvenient to inform the guests about? Let's stop speculating and just ask Butler Winters directly. He should know what's going on. Villa Hall. Distinguished guests, how may I be of assistance? Winters, the villa's butler, flashes his service smile as you all approach. The auction is about to begin, but Mr. Zhang has yet to show up. Did something happen? No, nothing has happened. Our master is just... Butler, is the auction going to happen or not? Can you tell us anything concrete? Yeah, we've all been waiting for a long time. Why hasn't Mr. Zheng shown up yet? Winters is interrupted by other guests before he can answer Atom's question. Winters is forced to calm everyone down as the impatient guests inquire about Mavis Zhang's whereabouts. Everyone, please remain calm. Our master is in his study sorting some things out. He should be here soon, so please be patient. Sorting some things out? What is so urgent that Mr. Zheng needs to sort it out himself and make so many guests wait for him? That's a pretty ridiculous excuse. Exactly, we're all waiting for him. What is he sorting out that's so important? Maria's skepticism is immediately echoed by the other guests. It's true, our master was talking about business with Mr. Zhang earlier. They talked for a long time. Mr. Zhang didn't leave the study until the auction was about to start. After that, our master stayed in the study and told us not to disturb him because he had to sort some things out. Mr. Zhang? Mr. Sim Zhang. As Winter sees that, you notice one of the male guests in the crowd stiffening. He unnaturally takes 2 steps back as if wanting to avoid drawing attention to himself. It has the opposite effect though. Do you mean that gentleman standing near the corridor? Vin has also noticed him. He points in that direction. Yes, Mr. Zhang deals in antiquities. I think he wanted to talk business with our master. Ah, I remember him. Upon your arrival at the villa, you saw him exchanging pleasantries with an old professor of folklore. Zhang, what are you talking about with Mr. Zeng in his study? Why hasn't he come out yet? Were you guys secretly trading antiques? That won't do. If Sam Zhang deal with Mr. Zeng under the table, wouldn't it be our loss? Don't make wild accusations. I just went to say hello. We didn't make any deals. Sam Zhang frantically tries to explain as more gazes are focused on him. The previous generation of my family is on good terms with Mr. Zhang. I was just saying hello. I don't believe you. You only went to say hello and ended up talking for so long. Yeah, you must have talked about something else. Sam Zhang hesitates, then after a long while he sighed. Here's the story. In my grandfather's early years, he mortgaged an antique vase to Mr. Nolan Zhang. That vase is a family heirloom. My father died of illness last year, and he was still thinking about the heirloom. I just wanted to ask Mr. Zheng if I could buy it back. I talked to Mr. Zheng for a long time, but he never responded. After that, I left because it seemed like the chances were slim. I don't know what Mr. Zheng was doing alone in his study after that. So you see, where's your proof? The truth behind what Mr. Zhang said doesn't really matter to everyone here. More importantly, why hasn't Mr. Zheng shown up yet? Everyone has been waiting for quite a while. But Winters, could you please fetch Mr. Zheng for us? Artem's words are immediately echoed by many guests. Well, just a moment, distinguished guest. I will check on him now. After a moment's hesitation, Winters nods and agrees with Artem's plan. All eyes turn to the study at the end of the corridor as if they wish to follow Winters there. Soon, Winters pushes the door to the study open and walks in to find. Ah, Master! Oh no, Master! Master! A sharp and uncharacteristic scream of horror escapes the butler's lips. It makes everyone's hair stand on end. A chill rises from the bottom of your heart, and the foreboding feeling you get grows increasingly stronger. Let's go take a look. Villa study. Luke is the first to reach the study. The door is ajar, and one hard push later, a glance is enough to unfold the scene hidden within. Butler Winters sits on the ground, trembling like a twig being tossed around by the winter winds. Before him, an old man had collapsed onto the carpet and lies motionless. It's Mr. Zhang. Everyone here recognized the old man. He is the master of Blizzard Villa, the same person who invited everyone to the auction. Master, he... Luke bends down carefully to inspect the body, then shakes his head gently. He's gone. What's going on? I don't know. I really don't. The master was already on the ground when I came in. How can this be? How this happened? Winter's face is overcome with fear and his words are incoherent. He is too frightened to speak in full sentences. But Winters, let me help you to decide where you can get some rest. You can tell me later if you have anything you want to see. I will go with you. Yeah. Winters is in shock. To avoid spooking him any further, Artem and you temporarily help him to the lounge next door. There are no obvious signs of trauma on Mr. Zeng's body, so we can rule out assault or external factors. By the time you and Artem return to the study, Vin is on one knee inspecting Mavis Zeng's body with his hand. And the complexion on his face is normal, so there should be no sign of poisoning. Then how did he... You had all suspected Mavis Zeng, his motive for hosting this auction, and wondered if Elijah Yin's death had anything to do with him. At that moment, however, all these doubts seemed to have been cast in vain. The killer has become an unknown question mark, without a clue in sight. What stranger is that? Mavis Zeng's expression seems calm and comfortable, without any signs of pain. It is as if he just fell asleep. It's the snow beast! It must be the snow beast! I told you there is a snow beast on the mountain. The snow beast sucked Mr. Yin's soul away, and now Mr. Zeng's. Help! I don't want to be taken away by the snow beast. I don't want to leave the mountain. Everyone looks at each other while a local Yuzhen Town resident, Casey Chow, starts screaming hysterically. She struggles to get out of the place but gets stopped by another local girl named Mimi. Calm down and stop spouting nonsense. I told you there's no such thing as a snow beast. Can't you stop messing around? It exists. I've seen it before. If you don't believe me, ask Mr. G. He knows. She has seen a snow beast. One can never believe in something without reason. Just as you're about to question Cassie Chow for more details, Mr. G steps out of the crowd. Enough! Mimi, take Casey out. We don't know anything yet, so don't make things worse. Mr. G's words stop Casey Chow and keep you from asking any questions. In the study, Vin continues his examination of Mavis Zeng. 10 minutes have passed since Casey Chow's outburst, and Vin is still kneeling on the ground examining. Dr. Richter, how can I help? Shirara, could you fetch Dr. Lee for me? This may require further and more professional examination by Dr. Lee. Of course, I'll go find him now. No need, I've already gotten him. Luke was on one step ahead of you. None of you knew when he had left the study, but by the time you see him again, he was already back with Dr. Lee. Dr. Lee, sorry for the trouble. Not at all, it's my job. Dr. Lee lowers his gaze after a simple reply. With Dr. Lee here, the examination of Mavis Zeng's body can officially start. Vin and Dr. Lee move his body to a separate, less crowded room for examination. All of you wait in the study for the results. For some reason, you can't forget the look on Dr. Lee's face when he saw Mavis Zeng. You don't know if it's just your imagination, but his eyes look like they were trying to avoid something. What are you thinking about? Just wondering when Dr. Lee and Dr. Richter's examination will conclude. What you felt was just a hunch. It's not enough to accuse someone yet. So you might as well change the subject. The conditions at the villa are limited. Vin's examination will take a little longer. Why don't we look around in the study for any suspicious clues? Who knows, maybe we'll find something that's been overlooked. Alright, let's take a look around. At first, Elijah that might have been considered an accident. But when the second victim appeared, that ship had sailed. Everyone knew intuitively that Mavis Zeng's death would not be simple. But the mystery of his death is shrouded in a fog, with people scratching their heads, unable to get answers. Hey, there's something under the table. Let me see. Luke bends down to pull out something hidden in the shadow. A box that someone has opened. There is condensation on the outside of the case. Did someone just take it out of the refrigerator? It looks to be a case for injection vials. As for what liquid might need to be refrigerated, let's confirm it with Dr. Richter. Yeah, hold on, there's something else in here. It looks like a syringe. Don't touch it, it looks used. We don't know what the person who used it did. Is it possible for us to leave a fingerprint from the syringe or test the residual liquid left in the syringe? Luke takes out his portable testing kit. He works quickly and soon gets the results. I couldn't get a fingerprint. The user probably wore gloves. But the residual liquid in the syringe is insulin. And it's the fast-acting insulin that lowers blood sugar very quickly. Fast-acting insulin, was Mavis Zeng a diabetic? No, if I recall correctly, fast-acting insulin isn't suitable for patients who need to take insulin regularly. Yes, this type of insulin is usually used for emergency treatment. Yeah, but it's better to ask Vin directly when he comes back. Let's discuss this matter again when Vin comes back. Mr. Wing, what is it? You keep staring at the carpet. There appear to be water stains on the carpet. Really? Here, there are tiny droplets of water on the carpet fibers. It seems someone sprinkled some kind of liquid on it, which hasn't completely dried yet. Does this count as a suspicious clue? Write it down, it might be useful later. Alright. The Zeng family collection is quite extensive. Look, the jade cabbage, ruby vase, and the jewel ornaments in the box on the shelves. These are all treasures in the eyes of many. And this holy ornament seems to have been carved out of fine jade. But the shape of this holy ornament. No, nothing. It makes sense why people are so excited about this auction after seeing these items. Mary's expression seems strange. What a heavy door. It's like the security door to a bank vault. Exactly, this is the same one that can be found in a bank. Eh? I guess this is where the Zeng family stores their valuable belongings. I guess since the Zeng family deals in antiques, their collection should be quite valuable. But the security door looks so modern that it seems out of place in the study. This type of security door is extremely secure and difficult to open without a specific key or code. You have to sacrifice some aesthetic for safety. By the time your preliminary investigation is done, Vin's examination has also concluded. A preliminary examination of Mavis Zeng's body shows no visible trauma. We asked the butler, who said Mavis Zeng had always been in good physical condition with no underlying medical condition. So we determined that his cause of death is sudden cardiac arrest, just like that of a giant. If we want to further investigate other causes, there are hopes to quickly re-establish communication with the outside world so that a medical examiner can perform an autopsy. This is something that everyone knows, but it is particularly difficult in these circumstances. No underlying medical history. So we can rule out the possibility that Mavis Zeng had diabetes. Yes, but why do you ask? Take a look at this. I found this under his desk. The residual liquid in the syringe contains fast-acting insulin. Luke takes out the syringe, which he had placed inside a plastic bag, and shows it to Vin. Vin takes it from Luke and inspects it closely. If the residual liquid is an insulin injection, then this empty case should contain the insulin vials. Insulin injections need to be stored in cold storage, which explains why there is condensation on the empty case. So now the question is, why did Mavis Zeng need insulin if he didn't have diabetes? And why are there no more insulin vials inside the case? Did he use it all at once? Vin stares at the empty case and his expression hardens unlike anything you've ever seen before. Everyone, I might have overlooked something. What is it? Come with me. If I am right, we may need to re-examine Mavis Zeng's body. Villa backyard. Everyone follows Vin back to the room where Mavis Zeng's body had been temporarily placed. Pardon me, Mr. Zeng. Vin rolls up Mavis Zeng's cuffs and bends down to carefully examine his body. What is Dr. Richter looking for? So that is what happened. Soon, Vin finds the answer he's searching for. I think I have found Mavis Zeng's cause of death. Huh? What was the cause of death? Is it related to what we found? Yes, Mavis Zeng's cause of death was probably an insulin overdose. He was injected intravenously with fast-acting insulin which caused hypoglycemic shock. Vin points to a tiny bruise on the inside of Mavis Zeng's right elbow. This is probably the injection point left behind by the syringe. The villa lacks the proper testing conditions. So Dr. Lee and I did not conduct a detailed examination of Mavis Zeng's body, only a preliminary assessment. But when I saw the empty pill case and insulin syringe, it reminded me of that possibility. So this is also a homicide. Yes, the killer is hiding among us. I finally understand why we're stuck here. This is a real Blizzard villa. At this moment, the wind and snow are still howling outside the villa. The temperature of the whole villa seems to be falling with the snow. Nobody can leave the villa, neither your little group nor the victims, nor the killer. You are all in a cage, not knowing which hiding places the killer is watching from. So how do we proceed with our investigation? As for suspects, should we consider Sam Zhang as one? Yes, but he is the same as Chantal Pan. It would be too obvious. Something happened to Mavis Zhang after Sam Zhang went to see him. It's like the killer is holding up a sign for everyone to see. Let's go back to the living room and see how the others react. Yes, if the killer is among us, then he must be looking to get something after achieving his goal. Yeah, let's go now. Who's there? Luke suddenly yells out, startling everyone in the room. Marius, who is nearest to the door, pushes open the door of the lounge. It is empty outside the door except for a line of footprints in the snow of the front courtyard leading back to the living room. Looks like someone was in a hurry. Let's check out the front courtyard. We might find some clues. I want to get out of here. Hey, calm down. I don't want to stay at the villa for another second. I'm only here to do some scientific research with Professor Young. I don't want to die here. It seems he's a student of Professor Young's. Please, calm down. My name is Bernard Young, but please just call me Bernard. He isn't a brave man despite the meaning of his name. Bernard, please calm down and listen to me. The snow outside is too strong and we're cut off from the outside world. It's impossible for us to get out of here on our own. So I have to stay here and die? I haven't even finished my thesis yet. The student's name Bernard Young cries more and more until he can hardly form a complete sentence. He's too emotional. I should let him calm down first. It must be Snowbeast. It must be. Oh no, now what do we do? Miss Chow, please don't worry. That's easy for you to say. How can I not worry? It's the snow beast that's sucking their souls away. Even Mr. Zheng is dead now. Who will be next? What if it's me? I regret it now. I shouldn't have listened to Mr. G when he told me to come to this villa. Nothing exciting happened and now I'm stuck in the middle of it. I should have insisted, you can't enter the mountain on a snowy day or else the snow beast will enrage. What do I do now? I can't die yet. It seems we must continue to worship the snow beast. Let me think. The next step is... Miss Chow? Cassie Chow is so absorbed in her own thoughts that she doesn't hear you at all. Where does the legend of the snow beast sucking souls come from? Why is Miss Chow so concerned about it? What's going on? I remember Dr. Lee. Nurse Shan, what's going on? Miss Sharara, it's nothing serious. I just think Dr. Lee had a strange look on his face. Strange? Ever since something happened to Mr. Zhang, Dr. Lee has been out of it. He ignored me when I went to see him just now. What's going on? It should be the first time that Dr. Lee saw Mr. Zhang. Out of it, Dr. Lee is upset about Mr. Zhang. Villa Hall. I couldn't get anything of value. Me neither. Me too. Maybe we have to find another way to get information. At this moment, everyone in the villa wears the same frightened and worried look on their face. It is uncomfortable to remain in what was originally a simple and elegant estate, which has now turned into a dangerous cage. With the situation unclear, it is dangerous to share any information. Better to be safe than sorry. I have the clues you want, but what will I get in return for telling you? You are Tony? The man approaching you is the same man who greeted all of you shortly after arriving at the villa. How about a deal? I'll tell you what I know and you tell me what you found. Give me the chance to make the headlines. What do you know? Luke narrows his eyes and stares at Tony. We can't. You want to signal Luke, but he responds with a reassuring gesture. What is Luke trying to do? I know you're looking for someone who needs insulin injections. I also know who among the guests has insulin injections. How's that for information? You were the one who was eavesdropping on us? Miss Shirara, it sounds bad when you put it that way. It wasn't eavesdropping. I was simply walking by and overheard something. If you wanted to make a deal, why not enter the room back then? Why wait until we are in the living room to negotiate a deal? I was nervous. There are so many of you and only one of me. I was afraid I'd get overwhelmed. It seems Sonny has no idea of the moral integrity of the Antiques. He's afraid of being threatened to give up this information. But in the living room, he's relatively safe with other people watching. I thought about it, and it wouldn't be a bad thing even if we are trapped here unable to find the killer. Besides, if you are willing to share information, the headline story will be mine when I get out of here. He laughs as if imagining his headline story exploding on the internet. Tell us what you know first. Sam Zhang is a diabetic and he has insulin injections. What? Yes, I'm sure he has insulin injections. I saw him sticking needles in his stomach yesterday in the lounge. Besides, maybe Zhang died after Sam Zhang left the study. I don't believe for a moment that he's not a suspect. Well, a great clue, right? Now it's your turn to give me something in return, yes? He smiles calmly as if certain that you will all honor your end of the deal. When did we acknowledge that a deal was made? You cannot give us the information by yourself, no? You're breaking the contract. What contract? I merely asked what you knew and you told us everything. I didn't know you would be so honest. Damn, you tricked me. Don't get worked up. I would advise you to keep your bad intentions at bay. Who knows? Maybe the killer will think you know too much and Marius lowered his voice deliberately to create a terrifying effect. Johnny's face goes white. It is clear that Marius' words are effective. Honestly, Marius is... Johnny leaves without saying anything else, probably too pissed off. But the clue he offered has opened up a new path of investigation. Everyone, do you think the reporter is reliable? I think so. He was far too anxious to build a relationship with us to trick us with false information. I have my reservation. His information may be true, but he had ulterior motive for approaching us. Shiraira, what do you think? I don't believe in Tony. Just like Mr. Wing said, his motives are not pure. So I also have my reservation about whether we should use this information to investigate Samsung. Yes, a man with ulterior motive must be taken with a grain of salt. And there are still many questions surrounding Samsung. I would still like to investigate him. In that case, let's do that. If you ask me, why don't we just go talk to Samsung and see how he reacts? Yeah, that's word too. We might be able to ascertain something from his attitude. Villa Side Hall. Samsung and his sister Ashley are both sitting in the lounge. Coincidentally, there is no one else sitting around them, which is a nice opportunity for all of you. But to be on the safe side, you all find a separate unused lounge to talk in. Hello, Mr. Zhang. There is something we'd like to talk to you about. It might take up some of your time. What do you want to know? If it's about Mr. Zhang, then I've already told you everything before. Relax, Mr. Zhang. We just want to ask something personal. About me? To be honest, Mr. Zhang's death was no accident. Mr. Zhang was injected with a large dose of insulin, which caused him to go into hypoglycemic shock, resulting in death. Someone told us that you, Mr. Zhang, have a history of diabetes and carry insulin injections with you. And you went meet with Mavis Zhang alone before he died. We have reason to believe you killed Mavis Zhang. Impossible! My brother wouldn't kill anyone. You've got it wrong. Unexpectedly, it was Ashley who had a more intense reaction than Samsung himself. She stands in front of Samsung, afraid that you are going to take him away at once. My brother has asthma and diabetes. His body has been weak since childhood and he doesn't have the strength to kill. And the insulin injection that we use is very expensive. He only takes a small dose each time. It's impossible that he would use a large dose. My brother needs to use it himself. Can we see your insulin injection? Of course. The injector I use is needle-free, which makes it ridiculous to use as a weapon to kill someone. Ashley, show them the insulin pen from the cooler in my room. Sure thing, Sam. I'll go now. 10 minutes later, Ashley Zhang returned with a panicked look on her face. You notice that she's not holding anything in her hands. Sam, not good. The insulin is gone. What did you see? Did you search properly? Yes, I searched in the cooler and closet, all over the room. It's gone. It is clear that Ashley Zhang is anxious, judging by the sweat on her face and the sheer panic in her voice. No way, I'll go look for it myself. A few minutes later, Sam Zhang returns without the composure that he had when he left. He seems confused. It's really gone. How can it be? His expression doesn't look fake, but it is too much of a coincidence. Everyone exchanged looks with each other as if trying to figure out what to say next. Let me test him some more. Mary's mouth quietly to you, then walks over to Samsung. Well, that's awfully convenient, Mr. Zhang. Are you sure that's your story? Maybe, as you said, you killed Mr. Zhang because your negotiations failed. It's true. After all the years of friendship and business between our families, how could I murder him? We depend on the Zhang family for our living. Why would I bite the hand that feeds me? By the way, isn't she an attorney? Sam Zhang suddenly points at you and growls anxiously. If you don't believe me, take her with you and check Mavis Zhang's record books and see if I'm telling the truth. People end up revealing a lot more when they panic. As soon as Sam Zhang finishes speaking, his whole face gone pale. He is obviously upset, but it is too late. Thanks for the clue, Mr. Zhang. We will investigate that. This is... What is it, Dr. Richter? I found a genetic profile and some routine pathology reports. Is it on one of those reports that record a patient's symptoms? But this report only lists the gender and age, not the patient names. Yes, most reports in this batch are that of seriously ill patients, and their names have been deliberately omitted. Mavis Zhang is not a doctor. Why would he be hiding so many pathology reports? It can't be part of his collection, right? Take the reports with us so I can examine them more carefully later. Sure. This is a ledger, right? The notes are handwritten. It looks pretty old, judging by the yellowed page. The wear and tear of the pages suggests that the ledger wasn't used by Mavis Zhang but by Nolan Zhang. It must be decades old. The Zhang family has a high value guarantee, possible to maintain long-term cooperation. Sean Lee is not suitable for long-term cooperation. Quantity purchased this month, 30. High quality goods, 5. Is this the number of collections and past sales recorded by Nolan Zhang? It seems that way. But his records are poorly kept. There's no way to identify what the collection was, where it came from, or where it went. We cannot determine anything from these records. It feels like the descriptions are a bit strange. Oh well, I'll put it away for now. Maybe it will be useful later on. Books, transaction records, where would you usually keep them? I think they're usually stored together. Maybe a box or a folder somewhere? Ah, found it! Luke opens a wooden box from the top shelf to reveal several neatly placed stacks of documents. Each entry is clearly marked with the dates, amount, and items traded. This is exactly what you are looking for. Sam Zhang has been in business with the Zhang family this year. Monthly transactions have exceeded tens of millions. That much? Yes, the transaction dates are relatively fixed, the beginning, middle, and end of every month. What kind of antique business takes place on a regular basis every month? That isn't detailed in the transaction records. It merely says antiques. Looks like we have to ask Sam Zhang for more details regarding these transactions. Yes, it seems we need to talk to Sam Zhang again. Huh? This is... What is it? Without responding, Mary squats down to feel around the carpet. When he finds something, then he finds something. Strange, how can this be? It looks like a branch. Is this some sort of metal ornament? It's a holly branch. How can you tell? This is a very abstract shape. Holly represents life and hope. Somehow, Mary's expression holds a hint of obscure sadness. It is an expression that feels strange and familiar at the same time. What's with him? He's been acting oddly for the past few days. It's the same as before. Wait, before? Miss, what are you thinking about? Here, put this metal ornament away first. It might be useful later. Okay. You remember Mary's strange expression when he saw the potted holly in the hall. Holly, what special meaning does it have? Yes, that's the one. Sam Zhang flips through the ledger you found, confirming its contents. Now you should believe me, right? Our family has been in the antique business for many years with Mr. Nolan Zhang, who is our biggest customer. There is a pressing expression on his face as if he wanted to rid himself of suspicions as soon as possible, but... My brother wouldn't kill anyone. Don't wrongly accuse the good guys. Yes, I believe you are in business with the Zhang family, which is how your family grew rich. But that brings up another question. What is it? Based on the ledger, your family and the Zhang family would make large monthly transactions. But is it normal in the antique business to have large numbers of fixed orders every month? Mrs. Zhang, can you explain that to us? The antique business is all about fame. With how famous the Zhang family is, it's no surprise that everyone wants to do business with them. Is it normal that there are similar amounts of antiques being sold and recorded each month? As far as I know, the antiques vary greatly in terms of price. How were you able to maintain the same price every month? It's just a coincidence. You're asking me so many questions. Does that mean you don't believe me? We don't mean to question your story, but we must remain cautious until we figure out the truth. Then hurry and get to finding the killer. I don't want to spend another day in this hellhole. With that said, Samsung turns around and ignores all of you. He seems to be upset. Or is he trying to hide something? Villa Garden. After Elijah Yin and Mavis Zeng were murdered, the snow-enclosed villa is no longer safe. None of you can guarantee that the killer doesn't already know what you're up to or what your group has found. So, after investigating the study, you look for a remote corner to sort out the clues. It is then that you finally have the opportunity to ask the question that has been troubling you. Marius, did you come to the Blizzard Villa to investigate another matter? He stares at you and you look right into his eyes. The others stand by you in silence until Marius breaks the silence himself. I can't hide it from you anymore. How did you find out? You've been inspecting the decor in here ever since coming to Blizzard Villa. And when you found that metal ornament in the study, you had a strange look on your face as if you were hiding something. So it always felt like you were looking into something, but you couldn't tell us. It's not that I couldn't. Just before coming to the villa, I felt like what I was thinking was a little ridiculous, so I was too embarrassed to tell you guys. So you find evidence found that confirms your conjunctions? Yes. Marius raises his hand to brush the hair away from his temples as if thinking about something. I'm here partly for the auction and partly here for Beaton. Mr. Wei? The image of the amiable old man flashes through your mind, but what does this remote villa have to do with him? Beaton, who came to work for Marius' family ever since he was 20, has remained single and dedicated himself to the Von Hagen family. I thought he had given up his life to take care of our family until one day my father casually mentioned that Peyton had a girlfriend when he was 19 years old. His girlfriend was named Holly and she was from Yuchen Town. 50 years ago, Holly went back to Yuchen Town to visit her relatives and was never heard from ever again. How could that be? Back then, Peyton was still young. He tried everything to find her to no avail. After all these years, he never once mentioned it to us, but I knew he never forgot about Holly. What does this have to do with what we found in the Blizzard Villa? Yes, that's what I found strange. In the invitation and brochures sent by the Zeng family, there were several photos captured of the interiors of the hall. One photo clearly captured the oil painting hanging on the wall in the hall. I saw Patton draw that painting when I was young. It was almost the same. The composition, the lines, and even the color of the ink were similar. Are you saying that someone here in the villa is connected to Peyton? Peyton drew that painting as a gift to Holly, so I'm curious why a similar painting would appear here. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to see if I can find the person Peyton was looking for. You mean Holly? Yeah, but after a few days at the villa, I thought I was overthinking things. That painting is a decoration that nobody cares about, so it doesn't really mean much. After that, many things happened at the villa, so I didn't bother bringing it up. Until I found something. Marius pauses for a moment, then beckons you with his eyes. You quickly takes out the metal ornament you had found under the carpet in the study and put it in his hand. It looks like a dried branch, but Maris insisted that it was a holly branch decoration. Now that you think about it, everything seems to be hinting at something. I once saw Peter make a holly branch brooch with a metal ornament of this exact shape. He said he made one for his girlfriend decades ago. He wanted to make it again in case he forgot how to make a brooch. I thought the holly branch design was very unique, so I remember it. Although the ornament design is crude, the general shape is exactly the same as the brooch Peter made. I think there can't be that many coincidences in the world, right? Yeah, there aren't too many coincidences in the world, and if there is, then there must be a connection. But what does this connection have anything to do with what you have experienced at the villa? Or is it just another puzzle that has left your group scratching their heads? After hearing that, it feels like there are more questions surrounding the villa. That's my speculation. For what it's worth, maybe I was overthinking things. We don't need to consider this yet. It's more important to solve the problem at hand. There are two difficult matters. Find a way to contact the outside world and find the suspect hiding in the villa. And it might be worth it to explore the Zheng family's secret. Did you guys notice how nervous Sam Zhang was when we pressed him about the transaction details? He was afraid we would look into the transaction details. Yes, he didn't want us to know the details of the transaction. If Maris hadn't pushed him to reveal this information as proof, I don't think he would have said anything. I was also intrigued by the stack of pathology reports in Mavis Zheng's study. After taking some time to review the pathology reports, I discovered the dates on them. Coincidence with the transaction dates in the ledger. Dr. Richter, what did you see? Yes, look. Vin puts the pathology reports together with the transaction records. He lays the pages over each other, his finger pointing to a marker in the upper right corner. Nothing seems to be there. Vin points to the edge of the paper where the date of the transaction was written. But the pathology report was completely blank without any similarities. There are pen marks here, very light but visible if you look closely enough. The marks are made at a similar angle when compared to the date in the upper right corner of the ledger. The pathology report must have been the next sheet of paper when someone was filling in the transaction records. Artem carefully inspected the marks that Vin pointed out. His expression changes from shock to grimness. What kind of transaction requires a pathology report? Not an artifact acquisition at least. It seems like there is more to the Zheng family villa than the murders we know of. There may be more to the story than we are aware of. But we still can't communicate with the outside world. We have clues here and there, but we haven't been able to put them all together. It is because there are too many variables happening at the same time, and we cannot keep track of them. I'll try to make contact with the outside world. In the meantime, you guys try sorting out the clues. Yes, for now, we have to wait and see how things turn out. Pick up the scattered notes. A yellowing paper, there are some uneven and sprawling text on it. I was finally able to infiltrate this estate. I'd expect no less from a wealthy family. It's too dark here. Luckily, I brought a lamplight with me. I wonder how big this place is. I should be very careful or else I'll get lost. It's so big. There must be plenty of treasures in this place. I picked the right place. A piece of white paper with blurry writing, barely legible. This experiment, I must increase the samples. Fortunately, this place is remote, so it's easy to get samples. I cannot give up hope. However, it's frustrating that my goal is still so far away. I tore up all the purchase orders. That's not like me. Have I been depressed for too long? A yellowing paper, there are some uneven and sprawling text on it. It is really dark here, but the layout looks quite exquisite. The furniture looks really expensive. One of these could be my family's living expenses for a long time. Well, never mind that. I'm going to continue looking around. Mr. Wing, I've reached a new room. I'll go look around. I'm also in a new room. We still don't know how big the rooms we're in are, so be careful while investigating the area. You too, Mr. Wing. Watch where you step. Yes, of course. A yellowing paper. There are some uneven and sprawling text on it. Wow, this room is even bigger than the last one. The layout is pretty good, but why are the lights out? I can't understand the bridge at all. A piece of white paper with blurry writing, barely legible. The last batch of goods their quality is quite good. Recently, the amount is growing. For the sake of, I better purchase more. Before the equipment arrives, why not just put them here? Mr. Wing, how are things over there? Still good? Still good. I've reached a new room without any issues. Maybe it won't be long before we can reunite with each other again. I think so too. Let's continue onward and see how things go. a yellowing paper. There are some uneven and sprawling text on it. This house is too big. I might get lost even if I live here. If my child lived here, he wouldn't have to suffer so much. My poor child was born into a family in poverty. Even worse, he is sick. My poor child, in the end, it's because I'm good for nothing. A piece of white paper with blurry writing, barely legible. These days, I often feel like someone is lurking in the shadows. Is this karma? Is a ghost coming to take revenge on me? I guess that's fine. It means I get to see Susan and little Lil again, even if they are ghosts. A piece of white paper with blurry writing, barely legible. Experiment records. The paper is eroded so much that nothing is legible except the title. This is me wondering aimlessly because I have no freaking idea that I can, you know, go through it. This is atom number 4. Yet another new room. Ferrara, how are you? Still okay? I'm alright. The rooms just seem to be getting bigger and bigger, and it looks like it's harder to get out now. I agree. That's why we have to be more cautious. We can walk along the candlestick light so that we can avoid any dark areas. Sounds reasonable enough. Let's set off. A yellowing paper. There are some uneven and sprawling text on it. Huh? It sounds like footsteps. Have I been discovered? No, not yet. I haven't found the medicine to save my child yet. If I get caught, they're going to send me to the police station. That will waste too much time. I better go. I've gotten enough. A yellowing paper. There are some uneven and sprawling text on it. The footsteps are gone. It seems I'm safe for now. I gotta go. My child is still waiting for me at home. My little baby, please wait for me. The writing on the paper stops here with a long ink mark. It seems like something happened to the writer. A piece of white paper with blurry writing, barely legible. I caught a rat today. I took care of it swiftly and cleaned up all traces. What I lost doesn't matter. It will be bad if the secret is leaked. Fortunately, I was able to gain enough to meet my urgent demand. Hello. Did you want something from me? Ask about Mr. Jiang, does your family have any business dealing with the Zheng family? Mr. Jiang listened to your words and thinks for a moment before nodding. I guess so. Many people in Yuzhen Town do business with the Zheng family. Without saying anything, Artem takes out the account book that you both found. As soon as Mr. Jiang sees it, he is so shocked that he jumps to his feet. Hey, isn't that account book mine? Mr. Jiang, have you seen this before? Yeah, I have the same one at home. He inspects it closer, then shakes his head. But I don't think it's the same one. The one at home is much older than this one. So this must be the account book from my family's business with Mr. Nolan Zheng. He flips through a few pages, taking a quick look at it. It is. My father said Mr. Nolan Zheng always looked after our business when he was still alive. So he wasn't boasting. I can't believe his family still has this account book. Looking at the records, the transactions between your families continued for many years. The Zheng family deals in antiques. Is it possible that your family also had treasures or antiques? You're overthinking it. Our family doesn't have any antiques. It's like this. Mr. Nolan Zheng loved the walnuts that our family plants. So every year when the walnuts were harvested, my family always sent the freshest and best walnuts to his house. The number recorded in the account books is the number of walnuts every harvest. I see. Mr. Nolan Zheng was a good man. He rarely appeared but always took care of my family. The people of Yuzhen Town are indebted to him. With that said, Mr. Jiang can't help but recall the past. Even the path you took to reach this villa was built by Mr. Nolan Zheng. Otherwise, how could there be such a great road? Artem, who has been silently flipping through the account book, suddenly speaks. So the Zheng family should know a lot about the mountains. Yeah, they've lived here for a long time, so they must know a lot. But not nearly as well as those who grew up here. Artem nods, still deep in thought. Mr. Jiang looks at you and then at Artem, hesitating. Are you done? Can I make a request? Can I have that account book? It's newer than the one I have and it's a perfect match. But isn't it just an ordinary account book? I want to keep it as a souvenir. Some of the Zheng family's fortune might rub off on us. Sorry, Mr. Jiang, we still need to keep the account book for now. Oh, why is that? I can't persuade you, can I? Sorry, Mr. Jiang. At this time, we cannot confirm whether this account book is related to the events at the villa. I will return it to you after we contact the police and check with them. Is that okay? I guess, do whatever you want. Mr. Jiang waved his hand and sighed, reluctantly making a compromise. Hello. Hello, what can I do for you? Nurse Shan is as gracious as ever. You hand her the medical record that you found. Nurse Shan, this is one of the medical records that we found. But it seems pretty old and its contents are unclear. So we just wanted to ask if you noticed anything special about this medical record. Nurse Shan listens to everything you said. She nods, then takes the medical record for closer inspection. Her face is calm at first, but then she sees something. This is... Her fingers clench onto the medical record slightly. Is there something wrong with this medical record? Nurse Shan doesn't respond to Vin. Her eyes still locked tightly on the medical records in his hand. Are you okay? You call out to her several times before she seems to return to her senses. Sorry, I lost myself there. I'm really sorry. This medical record is written by Dr. Lee's grandfather when he was young. I've been helping him search for this to no avail. So I got a little excited when I saw it. She blushes a little. Who knows what she's thinking about? Hey, is there something special about this record? I don't know. All I know is that Dr. Lee has been looking for it. I remember he comes from a line of doctors. Do they not keep medical records? Yeah, I'm not sure. There should be multiple files of ordinary pathology records. Maybe this record is special. No, wait. Why are you helping him search for it? Well... It was an ordinary question, but for some reason, Nurse Shan's expression grows more nervous. What do you mean, can't I help out a colleague? Her voice gets louder as she gets increasingly woke up. Nurse Shan, that's not what I meant. I just want to know more about... Enough! Give that to me. It belongs to Dr. Lee. Who knows if you'll use it to smear the reputation of Dr. Lee's grandfather? I don't want to argue with you. Anyway, what are you going to do with that medical record? It really means a lot to me. My apologies, we cannot judge the truth from your statement alone. It is better for us to keep this medical record until the police can launch an official investigation. Fine, so be it. Vin's words are able to soothe a person's heart and keep them at a distance at the same time. Seeing that things won't change, Nurse Shan angrily storms in place. You don't know what she's thinking about. She is deep in thought, ignoring you all even as you get up to leave. Villa Hall. You're back? I've been waiting for you for ages. The snow water is ready. We must hurry on to the next step. What's the next step? The next step is to find a candle with an eternal flame. Huh? When Lady Jingnu was still here, she would light up a candle if the snow beast didn't come home after playing outside. The flames of that candle never went out, even in the snow. So when the snow beast saw the candle, it would know that Lady Chengnu was calling it home. Miss Chow knows the legend of Lady Chengnu in great detail. But does a candle with an eternal flame even exist? It has to be a candle with an eternal flame. Of course! Miss Chow, have you considered that a candle with an eternal flame might not exist? No way! Lady Chengnu said it must exist, so it does exist. Don't try to fool me with nonsense. Hurry up and find it. I'll still need to figure out what to do next. Okay, I'll try to find it. Is there anything in here related to a candle? What about that floor lamp? It will stay on as long as there's electricity. No, the shape is too different from a candle and it's inconvenient to take with me. There's nothing here. Let's try another place. There seem to be many books on this shelf. I wonder if these books can give me any inspiration. I'll just read one at random. Why does this story feel familiar? Isn't this the legend of Lady Chengnu? As you are about to reach for the book, you catch a glimpse of the corner of the shelf. What is this? You feel around the corner and find a long cylindrical object, a candle made of plastic and a candle wick. That means you find a switch at the bottom of the candle and the tip of the candle lights up. It looks like a candle bookmark in case of a power outage. Great, this is a candle with an eternal flame. I should show it to her. Villa Hall. Miss Chow, take a look. Is this the candle that you spoke of? Miss Chow flips the switch at the bottom of the candle and looks at it, falling deep in thought. It's not quite what I expected, but nothing wrong with that. It's a candle and it never goes out. Yes, this is it. I didn't expect a city girl like you to be so capable. I'll keep this candle for now. Come back later. I have to think about the last step. It's finally the last step. Keep it up. The snow beast will forgive us with this final step. After the worship ritual is complete, we can all go home. God bless. Casey Chow claps her hands together and begins muttering to herself again. Looks like she won't be talking to me anytime soon. I'll talk to her again later. Villa Garden. Do it, don't do it. Do it, don't do it. What is Bernard Young talking about? Do you need any help? I'm fine. I'm not scared. I don't need help. Even though that's what he says, his legs are shaking. I'm just trying to help. I won't tell anyone. Really? Yeah. That's great. Miss Herrera, you have to help me. Bernard Yarn starts crying, looking very emotional. Calm down, what happened? It's all my fault. I shouldn't have come here. I thought I was just going to study peach blossom culture with my professor and nothing strange would happen. But that incident 2 days ago, and there are also rumors of the snow beasts. The professor had to ask me to collect data now. The snow is heavy and the surveying place is outside the villa. No, I don't dare to go alone. Bernard Young says while shaking his head. Miss Herrera, please help me. How can I help you? Miss Herrera, you're a great person, beautiful and kind. Okay, you don't need to compliment me, just tell me what you need help with. It's like this. The professor asked me to investigate the wind, snow, and ecology. The professor said these indicators impact the peach tree's growth, which will affect the peach blossom culture. Can you go in my place and make some simple observations? Nothing complicated. If I go, I might disappear halfway. With that said, Bernard Young shrinks into the wall again. It's just a normal investigation. Disappearing halfway is a bit exaggerated. He really is a coward. I see, no problem. Just wait for my good news. How can I describe the wind, snow, and ecology? I'm no expert at this. Oh well, he said to make a few simple notes and I'll just tell him what I saw. You walk down the path slowly, observing the surroundings. Suddenly, there is a cliff under your feet. This is... You crouch down and gently brush the snow off the ground to reveal the buried dead branches. I didn't even realize there are branches here. It seems that the snow is heavy here, otherwise the snow would not be so deep. The snow level is going down. Let's check somewhere else. Going off that line of thought? Let me get a feel for the wind here. The high pitch rises in front of you as the wind and snow whistle past, making terrible sounds. The edges of the cliff crisscross just enough to form a wide gap. The strong winds are making a sound that resemble a human growl. That should count as an observation. Well, the wind is done. Now there's only one left and victory is in sight. And why are there footprints here? It looks like the tracks of some small animals. What could it be? Before you can think, a small squirrel jumps around in front of you and sits firmly on a log. Squirrels look adorable with their round faces and fluffy tails. You can't help but pick up a fallen hazelnut and place it beside the log. Sure enough, it couldn't resist the temptation to eat. It grabbed the hazelnut before bolting off. It was a squirrel. How cute! Now that we have an ecological situation, I should hurry back to Bernard Young. Villa Garden. Bernard Young! You wave boldly to Bernard Young. Upon seeing you here, he breathed a sigh of relief. Good thing it's you. How did it go? Were you able to collect some data? Yeah. Then you tell Bernard Young everything you just saw. This information is so helpful. Thank you, Miss Herrera. You're welcome. I'm just glad to help. After hearing what you said, I'm not that scared anymore. I even found it interesting. It was pretty interesting. Why don't you go yourself next time? I will try my best next time. Well, I need to check in with the professor. See you next time, Miss Herrera. Yeah, see you next time. How annoying. Wrong was with the big sigh. She looks at you coldly without replying. I'm fine, don't concern yourself with me. She still has quite the temper. I'm going to go now since you're fine. Wrong moves her lips but doesn't say anything in the end. I ran into Ben Yuan in the courtyard and he said your anniversary is coming up. I don't know what happened to the art sculpture that he prepared for her. But it should be a happy occasion. Why does she look upset? You take a look around. When you return, Rayron still looks worried. Should I ask her what she's worrying about? There's probably no use in asking since she looks like someone I shouldn't mess around. Just as you're about to leave... Wait a moment. Me? Yes, you, don't leave. I have something to ask you. It will affect my inspiration if this stays in my mind. She still seems very arrogant, but she isn't as stiff as before. Did you meet Ben yet? Yes, I ran into him out in the backyard. What's wrong? What did he say to you? He didn't say anything, just that your anniversary was coming up. Stop right there. I know what you're going to say. He's thinking of a surprise for my anniversary, isn't he? Rayron shakes her head, helplessness written all over her face. Do you know what gift he's prepared? I shouldn't tell her about his intentions. Actually, I gave him an idea the surprise on your anniversary. He wants to make an art sculpture of your face. After hearing your words, Rayron frowns even more. Ben, I told him not to prepare anything for the anniversary. He just won't listen. Shouldn't he be happy to receive a surprise on her anniversary? I guess he didn't tell you why we fought on our last anniversary. It doesn't hurt to tell you. I'm not going to stay with him anyway. On our last anniversary, he prepared a useless wooden cabin for me, and I got into a big fight with him. Why not do something useful with all the time he spent on carpentry? He's always been like this, preoccupied with meaningless things. He just won't listen. So, you want to break up with him? When you mention the words break up, Ray Ron's expression immediately freezes. There is a slight awkwardness in her eyes. Ben is a good guy and he's good to me, but Forget it, what would you know? And don't tell Ben, I want to tell him myself. Alright, I understand now. Relationships are hard. Phew, it feels good just to get it off my back. Now I can get back to work. Looking at her back, you can't help but feel some sadness emanating from it.